I believe the salvage yard is easily one of the most underrated businesses in all of GTA Online, but not for the reason that you think. You see, the weekly vehicle robberies are fine and all for making some quick cash, and I will explain how to do them the correct way later in this video, but most people just don't realize that the tow truck service missions actually make you way more money over time, and the best part about it all is that it's almost entirely passive. It even has a hidden popularity system and mechanic, similar to the nightclub if you're familiar with that, and in this A to Z salvage yard guide, I'll show you exactly how to manage that hidden popularity meter so you can make the maximum amount of $24,000 per in-game day. By the way, this is in addition to the money that you're already making from salvaging those towed vehicles, and when we add up all of the numbers, it comes out to over $100,000 every 48 minutes, which is just insane for a business that so many consider to be nothing more than a mini heist generator with a huge weekly cooldown. Then there are also all of the free cars that you get to keep for yourself, if Rockstar feels generous, that is, which isn't that often. But first, let's talk about which salvage yard that you should actually buy. And it's this one, in Strawberry. This is the most centrally located salvage yard in the game, and if you look closely up the map, it's also right next to your hands-on car wash and the Strawberry Auto Shop. All three of which are arranged in a nice little triangle right here, and you can drive between these businesses in a mere matter of seconds. Next, let's talk about upgrades for your salvage yard. I recommend these two as mandatory upgrades. First, a tow truck, which you obviously need if you want to do those boring yet highly lucrative tow missions. And secondly, you need a staff upgrade, because without this, your vehicles will take twice as long to be salvaged and you'll cut your passive income per hour by half. So go ahead and spend that $625,000 on it. I assure you, it is well worth it in the long run. If you want to save some money, you can also go with the beater tow truck, which costs $650,000, but if you can spare that extra $350,000, I do recommend purchasing the brand new one, as not only does it look better and it's less of an eyesore, but in some unique instances, you'll also find out that it goes slightly faster. Will it actually speed up your vehicle recovery times though? Not particularly, as the biggest limitation on your tow truck jobs isn't the speed of the tow truck itself, rather it's the awful vehicle spawns that you get, which can sometimes be 3 or even unfortunately 4 miles away, and I will show you a little trick to get around that later in the video, but for now, you can get either tow truck, it really won't make that big of a difference. Alright, now let's get to the main course of this guide here, which is passive money making with your salvage yard. How much can you make per hour? How does that hidden popularity meter work? All of that good stuff. And I'm gonna start out with the big juicy details up front. $84,000 to $104,000. That's how much you can make with your salvage yard every single in-game day, or 48 real-life minutes. Sounds impressive, right? I mean, that's almost as much as a nightclub makes with the warehouse income included. And here's how you do it. First, you're gonna get inside that tow truck you purchased. It's parked right next to the shop entrance over here. Then you launch a tow truck mission. These have a cooldown of 2 minutes. They used to be 0, but Rockstar hates us, so they nerfed a business that didn't really need to be nerfed. Anyways, you get inside and you launch a mission, which will generate a randomized vehicle spawn as well as an associated vehicle value. The spawn can be as close as half a mile away from your shop in a parking lot within downtown Los Santos, or it can be 5 miles away up in the middle of some random farm in Sandy Shores. If you get a location that's within about 2 to 2.5 miles from your shop, drive there, pick up the vehicle, and drive it back. Just pay attention while you're taking turns or going over bumps with the car attached to your crane arm, because sometimes it will flip over and you'll have to reattach the cable to tow it back, and that's going to waste some time. If the vehicle is over 3 miles away though, there's a little trick you can use to get there faster. Simply call in your cargo bob or iron mule, hook up the tow truck to the chopper, and fly there. Then attach your vehicle to the truck as you normally would and drive back. This saves you a bit of time if the target is over 3 miles away. If it's any less than that, the extra time that you spend summoning your helicopter and hooking it up onto the truck just isn't worth it, so make your choice based on that. Alternatively, and what I prefer to do in most cases if I have a tow truck location that's too far away and I also don't want to deal with Rockstar's crappy RNG, you can also just choose to throw a couple of sticky bombs on your truck and blow it up to reset the mission, but this also means encountering that 2-minute cooldown, same as if you just switch session. Each vehicle you tow back to your shop will pay anywhere from $30,000 to $40,000. Payment is sent to your account after a vehicle has been processed, and you can process 2 cars at the same time. And if you bought that staff upgrade we talked about earlier, these vehicles will be processed in 48 minutes rather than 96 minutes. Now, let's talk about that hidden popularity meter, which determines how much income your office safe makes per in-game day. And it works very similarly to the nightclub. the higher your popularity, the more passive income you make. And if you don't maintain it, your income will drop and you'll get less money at the end of each in-game day. Only in the case of the salvage yard, there's no handy popularity meter, and the game doesn't even tell you that something like this exists. You have to figure it out yourself through trial and error. Fortunately for you, I did the math, so you don't have to. And here's how it works. There are 100 popularity quote-unquote levels in total, and with each tow job that you do, you gain 25 levels, which means once you've done 4 tow truck jobs in total, you've got the max popularity level of 100. You'll make the max passive income as well of $24,000 per 48 minutes. Also, you don't have to do all 4 at the same time. Once you have max popularity, it takes 96 full real-life minutes for it to drop back down by 25 levels. So if you haven't done a tow job for 2 in-game days, your max income will go from $24,000 to $19,200. Then if you wait another 96 minutes, it will go down further to $12,000. And finally, at the lowest level, it's reduced to practically nothing, so I recommend doing 4 tow truck jobs as soon as you get your brand new salvage yard, then keep it on quote-unquote maintenance mode, which is just 1 tow truck job every 96 real-life minutes if you just want that $24,000 worth of passive income. But here's how you can maximize it. You see, the salvage yard can process 2 vehicles simultaneously. So what you should do right after you log in for the day is do 1 tow truck mission, then wait the 2 minutes and go do another. Both of these can be done within 6 to 8 minutes total. That's $60,000 to $80,000 right there. And then, since you already have max popularity, you also get that $24,000 in your wall safe, which means you've now made a combined $84,000 to $104,000 just by driving a truck around for a couple of minutes. Then, right before logging off, do 2 more tow truck jobs. These vehicles will be processed by your salvage yard staff even if you're offline, so as soon as you log back in the next day to play, you'll see that 80 grand pop up on the left side of your screen. So every GTA Online session, you're making nearly $200,000 for doing practically nothing. That's close to $1.4 million a week, or over $9 million a month in semi-passive income. And here's another tip. Anytime you get the cops on you while doing a tow truck mission, simply summon your Terabyte or Acid Lab, walk into the back, and walk back out to remove the wanted level immediately. This trick also works with the MOC or Avenger. Alright, with all the passive stuff wrapped up, let's talk about the vehicle robberies, which are the much more interesting way to make money, even though they actually pay a lot less long term because you only get 3 heists at a time, and these are also on a weekly rotation. Each one of these robberies or mini heists gives you a vehicle to steal, and there are 3 tiers of them. Low-end vehicles, which give you around $250,000 to $270,000, medium-end vehicles, which pay $340,000 to $350,000, and finally, we've got the top tier high-end vehicles, which have a resale value of $390,000 to over $400,000. In total, you're making approximately $1 million just by doing these 3 mini heists each week. And remember, always sell the car. Never salvage it. Selling it only takes a couple of minutes and it pays way more money. Plus, you can do it in an invite-only session, which removes practically all the risk to you. Occasionally, Rockstar will allow you to claim a stolen car of these for just $20,000, although this only happens a couple times a year, and it's been ages since we were last able to claim a vehicle. Typically, we see them for Christmas, 4th of July, and sometimes in between. But when speaking about these vehicle robberies, there are 5 of them in total, and you get 3 at a time. Some are worse than the others, but overall, I really do like all 5 robberies, and once you get acquainted with all of the mission objectives and enemy spawn points, you can comfortably do each of these in under 30 minutes. Even the harder ones like the McToney robbery or even the Gangbanger robbery. You can also use your Oppressor Mark II for the prep missions, which makes things a whole lot easier, and while these mini heists deserve their own separate video, I've got a few tips that'll help you complete them a lot more easily. First, we've got the Gangbanger robbery, and in the finale for this one, what you should do before you throw all of those BZ gas containers into the ventilation system is you should summon your Sparrow and park it right next to the exit. This way, once you finally get the prompt to escape with King Tiny, you can simply hop in, pray to God that his AI doesn't suck, and fly straight to LSIA. Then, for the Duggan robbery, if you get all 3 bonus objectives, you can make an extra $50,000, and they're all really simple. Get over 15 headshots, disable the target vehicle on your first try, and reach House Shop within 1 minute. Duggan is also one of my favorite heists because of how easy it is, both for the setups and for the finale, and there was also this really cool skip where if you had the La Puerta salvage yard, you could simply dial 911 and drive into it with the stolen vehicle. And what that would do is then teleport you straight to House Shop. I don't know if it still works today or if Rockstar has patched it, but I do suggest trying it out if you have that La Puerta shop location. Then for the cargo ship robbery, in the finale there's an easy way to do the stealth challenge, and for this all you have to do is bring your Oppressor Mark II, hop into the boat to get the GPS coordinates, then back on your Oppressor and fly over the ship. Right over the objective, just parachute down and glide to the yellow marker. You'll complete the stealth directive as long as you reach the bridge, and even if you do get detected afterwards, you'll still get the bonus. For the podium robbery, once all the lights go out, just look at your minimap and follow this path that I'm showing you to advance undetected. Right, left, right, right. And then, once more over here, you'll find the hatch. If you stay under the cameras, outside of the blue vision cone, you will not be detected. Then, right as the door opens, send an RPG into the other room to clear out some of the enemies, and that'll make your escape way easier. Make sure to take all of them out before getting into your car so you can complete one of the bonus objectives, which is escaping, within 1 minute. And then finally for the McToney robbery, which is arguably the hardest one, I don't really have much to say other than play the mission in first person and keep your head on a swivel. There are bad guys at every corner, so the assault shotgun will definitely come in handy here, especially if you want to dispatch them fast. And because the head of security can spawn in one of 3 random spots, the best thing you can do is memorize each location and go through them in order. Also, he has like 20 billion HP and does a lot of damage back to you, so the best way to deal with him is once you've spotted him, back off into a corner, pull out your grenade launcher, and bounce some nades at him, which will then set him on fire. And while he's running around all ablaze, you can end his suffering by putting a few rounds through his head. Then for the second phase of the finale, once you're in the cop chase, the best way to lose them is by following these railway tracks and heading into this tunnel that's right next to the sawmill up north. Then wait in there until you lose your wanted level and drive back to the salvage yard. And there it is. That concludes my salvage yard guide for 2025. Hopefully you found the information helpful, and I want you to test out the passive income strat yourself because I think you'll be pleasantly surprised at just how good it is, even if you compare it to the OG passive income sources in the game like the nightclub. Also, let me know if you'd like to see a separate video on speedrunning the salvage yard robberies themselves, as they are quite complex and I have a whole lot more tips and tricks that I can show you to make these heists much easier. Also, just as a reminder, if you want 1 week early access to all of my official guides, consider becoming a channel member, as that'd help me out a lot and you'll get full access to my guides before everyone else. Thank you so much for watching. Drop a like if you guys enjoyed. Please consider subscribing to the channel if you are new and you want to see more GTA 5 online content just like this. If you'd like to reach me outside of YouTube, check me out over on Twitch, Twitter, and Instagram, specifically twitch.tv/hazardoushdtv for consistent GTA online money grinding live streams. It is the GTA 6 waiting room over on there. And with that being said, I will see you guys in the next GTA 5 online video. Adios, amigos.